You know what's great about Ubisoft? They release a sequel to one of their cult classic series which does poorly and says, you know what, we're better than this, and releases yet another that returns the series to its origins and lowers the price to a mere $15. Call of Juarez Gunslinger boasts quality of a full-fledged game and is released as an arcade game. It's a bit of a letdown though, however, because this means it will not get nearly as much promotion as it would if it were a disc game. Still, I have confidence of this great comeback getting a pretty penny. To be honest, I've only played Call of Juarez Bound in Blood before this release. Never played the original, never played the cartel. Heard it was terrible from just about everybody, so I believe it and stayed away. Bound in Blood was nowhere near perfect, but I definitely had my share of fun with it. Here, in Gunslinger, personal voice and style take over to make this something even better. The story is set up as a framed story, meaning that the majority of the important events happen in a flashback, tale-told way. You play as Silas Greaves, who tells his tale of bounty hunting at a local bar. What an awesome and original name, I might add. Completely serious. This approach is greatly welcome, but the structure of his storytelling faults a bit. Basically, he wants revenge on 3 men who hung him and his 2 brothers, who died, but he didn't. You get the first one just out of nowhere, and it seems a bit rushed. One awesome thing about the storytelling is that while it is being told, the surroundings can change on you to fit what the characters are saying. Scenarios that you play aren't always what happens in the grand scheme of things. I'll admit, Silas wasn't nearly as mysterious as I had hoped for going into this game. He tells the whole story based on how he remembers it, giving no mystery or intrigue about his character. He plays out like a tired old drunk and not a legendary man. Gameplay is much more fast-paced than I remember it in Bound in Blood. You fight off hundreds of enemies, occasionally dodging bullets and using concentration mode, which is this game's version of bullet time. It doesn't last long, but it's always helpful and fun. Bosses are a welcome addition that help add to the arcade feel of the game. You need to analyze their movements and patterns to figure out a line of attack. Duels are back, and in my opinion, way more improved than in Bound in Blood. Factors in winning them relate to hand speed and focusing on your target. Both areas are very sensitive, so you need to go into each duel carefully. Not to mention, some targets are faster than others, so hand speed is critical. Some sections of the game got to be freaking hot dog frustrating as crap, because they were all about trial and error. My problem with this is that it has nothing to do with skill but memorization. There's no reason it should turn into Simon Says. I played on normal and at times couldn't imagine playing on hard, let alone the true West setting. And then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this. That's what it feels like in the game. Annoyingly repetitive at times. But when it's all said and done, you get a well-written ending with a couple interesting twists and a decision to make. I felt disappointed that there was only one choice to make in this whole entire game, and not having at the very least 3 or 4 major scenes in which to choose your outcome. Silas seemed like a fleshed out enough character to decide who he turns into through the years. Still, I had a good time with Gunslinger, and I might head back to the Old West one more time. New Game Plus makes me interested in jumping into Silas's boots again. My rating for Call of Juarez Gunslinger is a fair 7.5 out of 10.